On the SportsMax Zone, we are 2 weeks away from the proposed start of the 2021 ISSA Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletic Championships in Jamaica. But there is still uncertainty over the event proceeding due to the impact of COVID-19. Last year's event was, of course, cancelled due to the pandemic. The Inter-Secondary Schools Sports Association, ISSA, has maintained that it's ready to stage the event, even as it awaits the green light from the government. So what's the latest? Is the event a go or not? And when will the final decision be made? We are putting these questions to the ISSA president, Keith Wellington. Keith is principal too of the St. Elizabeth Technical High School. And Keith, you must feel that there is a cacophony of events frustrating you. You're trying to get a green light for the ISSA Boys and Girls Championships. I gather that you're a Liverpool fan, so you have lost your Premier League title and facing an exit from the Champions League as well.
Well, I'm not sure we're facing an exit. We have a game tomorrow that determines where we go from there. But yes, it has been a difficult sporting year for me.
Yes, I said facing. I didn't say you exited. You're facing, yes, but you could turn it around. You're right. What problems for Keith Wellington and ISSA because of CHAMPS, and there are so many people vested in the excitement and the benefits that the championships offer to our schools and our budding athletes and so on. What's the latest?
Unfortunately, I'm not sure that I have any real update. We are still awaiting a response from the authorities as to whether or not our application for approval of the meet will be granted. We would have submitted our application maybe 3 weeks ago. The process requires you to apply through your national sporting association, who then forwards the application to the Ministry of Sports. And now it is considered between the Ministry of Local Government, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Sports through ODPM coordinating it. And we have not heard from them, so we don't know where we stand.
Yeah. A couple of things, Keith. Let me start here, because a lot of sporting associations are complaining that they aren't getting proper feedback from the authorities. Can you tell us from the ISSA standpoint, what is it that you have put on the table to make CHAMPS a reality in a safe environment? I gather no spectators, but what else would you have put on the table to tell the government this is a safe project and you should give us the green light?
All right, so we would have started by just looking at what took place over the 4 weekends that track and field restarted in Jamaica. Would have looked at all those protocols and how we would have integrated them into the CHAMPS program. Obviously, the big thing for us at CHAMPS would have been the fact that there would be no spectators. We would significantly reduce the number of athletes who would be in attendance on a daily basis. So we're looking at an average of only possibly 200 plus athletes per day at CHAMPS. There will be times when there will be a little bit more, but we had a schedule that facilitated athletes participating just one day of CHAMPS, because what we did was to eliminate a number of the rounds for each event. And so with the exception of the 100, 200 and the 400 meters, as well as the 800 meters, all other events would be competed for in one day. So if you were doing high jump, you'd come one day and participate and the event would be done. Unlike in previous years where you may do the preliminaries on one day and come back another day. So we were restricting the interactions there. The protocols that we had in place in terms of sanitization, but in terms of transportation and accommodation for athletes, all of those were documented and presented to the authorities to indicate how it is that we would manage the numbers that would be required to be in any one place at any one time.
Principal, the amended plan that you have for CHAMPS, is that with the authorities? And by I mean Ministry of Sport, Wellness and Local Government.
Yes, it is. It is. We did submit it, and we did last weekend. We got a call seeking some clarifications, and we did present further clarifications on some of these issues.
And based on that communication and your understanding of where things are now, what has to happen for that plan to get the green light?
Well, I am not sure. I'm not sure, because the concerns that they raised with us were concerns that we think we had addressed in the original documentation, but we went ahead and made amendments, presented the information graphically made graphs, charts, showing some of the data that was required, provided a sample. All right, so for example, one of the things that would be expected for this year is that each school would have to present to ISSA at least 10 days before CHAMPS all their documentation relating to arrangements for accommodation. So for example, if States, which is in Santa Cruz, wanted to have students stay over in Kingston, States would have to indicate to ISSA how many students it would have, where the students would be staying, what arrangement was in place for accommodation, and ISSA would then now have a team that would go and check on the accommodation and make sure that it would be able to comply with all the requisite, it would be able to comply with all that is required to abide by the COVID-19 protocols. So we had all of that, and we presented for them a sample of what it would look like. I think we and this is something, whether CHAMPS goes on or not, this is something that we are going to want to share publicly.
Yeah, so that's a part that puzzles me now, Principal, because if you've done what you have had to do in terms of detailing a plan and describing a plan, setting it out on paper, and you have submitted it, it must be that you're waiting for some things in the environment to change. And if you're unsure on that, then I don't understand what it is that you're being expected to wait on, or why you're waiting. It baffles me at this point.
Yeah, I am just as baffled as you are. I think it's a little bit of a disrespect for us not to have had a response. I don't think that ISSA believes that it must get the approval. That is not the case. We don't believe that it must be approved. We think that we have done a good enough job to get it approved, but we also accept that the government can take a position that it doesn't want to see CHAMPS happen. And if that is the case, we would expect that response as well.
Right. Have you submitted anything to them, Keith Wellington, to say, well, look, this is what has happened on the NCAA circuit. This is what has happened with sports other than track and field where NCAA is concerned. And we have tailored our plan according to this. So we expect that we've given you what we intend to do here in Jamaica, what's happening internationally, for you to have as much information as possible to make a decision either way. And it's a decision that you want. You don't want to be continuing to sit waiting on you don't know what.
I want to tell you something, George. As early as December 22nd last year, I wrote to the minister indicating that we were monitoring the situation and we were having plans in place, and we had created a scenario as to when we would want to resume sports, if it is possible to do so. We gave a timeline as to what we were looking at. We submitted a set of protocols that we had established long before the government came up with any protocols for anybody, right? But we have not had the opportunity to have a discussion on any of this after what? 4 months, 5 months? They have set out a procedure for sporting organizations to get permission. And by the way, the procedure requires you to ask for exemption. So it is not that you are going to be applying without the knowledge that, listen, there are things that are different from the norm, but they say that you can apply and ask for exemption once you can prove that what you're going to do is not going to be harmful or it's not going to create greater risk. And we think that we have gone to that stage. I must say to George that, our stakeholders have been really, really committed. This is not something that there is going to be any financial reward for our sponsors. This is not a marketing opportunity for them. I think this is a situation where our stakeholders want to invest in the social capital of the country. This is a social sponsorship arrangement this year where ISSA doesn't stand to gain $1 from staging CHAMPS. Neither do the sponsors likely to benefit, right? But we have all come to the understanding that this is something that is key to our social capital, especially as it regards to our young people.
Yeah.
And I feel disrespected that we have not gotten even a response to say, listen, Keith, I don't think it is wise, and we do not want to see CHAMPS take place because it will not be safe. Not even that we have had the courtesy of.
Tough. Yeah. Tough indeed. Well, we hope that you get word soon. That's all the time we have, Keith Wellington. We'll keep in touch.
Yeah, well, thank you, and thanks for having me.
Good.
Yeah, a huge story there, George, because over the past couple of minutes we've been looking at video from the corporate area CHAMPS, which was held a couple of weeks ago, which was, as far as the organisers are concerned and the track and field fraternity, an advert that track and field can take place safely.
Yeah, it's usually it's a criticism to say this, but in these times it's not. And what it is I'm talking about, it seems as if the authorities are overwhelmed by the scale of the problem, to the extent that organizations such as ISSA put so much work into putting on paper what they want to do, how they want to do it, the attendant protocols that have to be observed, and the measures that they are willing to implement to ensure it runs smoothly. And it's not like they've been told no, they haven't gotten a response, and they've been waiting and waiting and waiting. And the thing is this: what are you waiting on? They don't know, they're just waiting. Someone should just say yes or no, and let's move on.
Yeah.
Speaking of move on, Lance, it's break time, right?
Yeah, it is.
There you go.